What's up, guys? It's Amma Jamma here, coming with a new education video. Today, we're going to go over confirmation. Now, confirmation can mean a million different things. So, the first thing you always want to consider when you're talking about confirmation on any trade is what's the primary purpose of a trade. Your confirmation on a swing trade on something like Nike, if we put on the daily chart, your confirmation on a trade like this, if you say you want to take an entry and a post is, it's a watch is posted or someone mentions it and says on confirmation taking calls or whatever it might be. All right. A confirmation here, which is actually where we took this trade, we took it way down here. This was our confirmation. So a confirmation on this is going to be much different when it's a swing trade that we're looking at than if we put on NVIDIA right here and we're looking at a 5-minute chart and we're taking confirmation of puts like we took today at the loss of this line. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about what I personally use for confirmation and other things you could personally use for confirmation when you are swing trading and day trading. So if we go back to the Nike chart, if I'm talking about a confirmation, I'm talking about a couple different things. We have many different ways we could talk about this as far as Nike. First of all, on Nike, the biggest confirmation we used, which I don't actually use too often, but on this chart particularly, I really, really loved it, was this daily break of the 21 EMA. EMA breaks are a great example of a confirmation to use. The only EMAs I really use overall is the 21 and the 200. That's it. I know KT and a lot of other people within the Discord or externally use the 9. People use the 36, the 50, the 100, the banana like 378 or whatever it might be. I don't use any of those. I use the 200. I use the 21. That's it. But you could see how this was kind of a perfect storm trade here and what we mean about confirmation. So if you have this on the list, and the day before we took this trade, I think we had a couple other lingering trades, but I put like a third chance trade out, and we spoke about this in the stream, and I said, look at this, we're bumping our head against the 21 on the daily, because we could clearly see previous attempts to break, we hit our head on our 21 on the daily, as well as hitting our head at a previous support level. That was a support level here, resistance level here, resistance level here, resistance again, plus that 21 resistance. So if I'm putting out a chart and I'm saying, what are we watching for confirmation to tank entry? And we say we want to see a daily open above the 21 EMA on the daily, and we want to see on a chart like this, I would say an hourly candle. It depends on what the primary purpose is, but I might say an hourly candle opens and closes above, what's this wick high? 75.34. So I'll say something like a daily candle that closes above 75.34 for entry. So if we put this onto an hourly time frame, all right, and we were watching it at that point at 75.34. All right, so which is right down here. We would take the trade actually way up here. But it's fine because look what happened after that. You missed that first candle, but that was our confirmation. Okay? Or on impulsivity type charts, you're waiting for the retest confirmation. So on something like this, if you consider it an impulse break, all right, there's two ways of playing that. Because we talk about, first break's going to be impulsive, then you're going to get the confirmation after the impulse. So if this was considered our impulse break, a lot of times you wait for that second test here. We didn't get that, obviously. But what we did get is the pullback to this candle close. All right. So you can see right here, look where we pulled back to the next day. Right at that candle close. Right there. So that's a secondary pullback that we would like to see. That works out perfectly. Or if you put a fibs on this breakout from top to bottom, you could see we dip below the 25%. stayed within it the entire time and broke back above it. Let me get rid of these EMA lines. So that's a third type of confirmation you can have. Every analyst that's putting out alerts is going to have different types of confirmations. So I'm just trying to go through the different list of confirmations in general that you could use for taking trades, because unfortunately there's no black and white to it. It's always going to be open to interpretation, because trader A on confirmation might say, oh, on the daily chart we we broke above our area right here, and we opened the day above that 21 EMA on the daily. There it is. That's my confirmation. Second person might go to an hourly chart and say, I want to see that hourly candle open and close above it, and might end up taking the trade up here at this line. The third person might say, well, that was an impulsive candle, so I want to wait for some sort of a retest pullback before I take it. And in that area, you should be identifying both that 1 hour break, which we bounced off of perfectly right here. You can also identify secondary. Look at that hourly bounce off that 21. Bounce off that perfect. Thirdly, we have the 25% retrace right here. Once we get that candle break above it, boom, in. So even if you miss, so many people are say I don't want to chase into a trade. I'm not putting out a swing trade for 4 weeks out, 6 weeks out, 8 weeks out, where I expect one little teeny tiny candle that literally only went 1.5% or so. I'm not expecting that candle to be the whole trade, because you think, oh, I was too late at $77. We're at $84 now. We're up 10% from there. We're up 550% on the trade. So that's one type of confirmation for a swing type trade that we could really think about and talk about overall. Second, let's look at the video for today. If we're talking about confirmation for taking entry on a trade. All right, so we took puts on the video here. And I talk about this all the time too. The confirmation is going to be the retest after the break of a high or a low. So I'm going to delete everything here. I'm going to get rid of these EMAs. And I'm going to close this up. All right, so at the point we were at, because so many people think they're chasing because we had this sell-off before we even took entry right here, which is not true. So our low of day was right here, okay, at about 129.24. That was our low a day right here. So at that point, that's where we get order blocks stacked up. We've got a bunch of imbalance there, meaning we've got bearish orders waiting to sell and take profits. Bullish orders is their stop loss right at this place, just below that. It's natural algorithms of trading. So when we lose that area, when we popped up here and we're selling off and we're getting close to that area and we're starting to bounce off it like we did in these couple candles right here, all right, and then we dip below it, we're taking entry at after we clear out the low, the first candle open below the previous low. So in this situation right here, my confirmation and my entry is going to be right here. That candle open right there. That's my confirmation for entry, because it gives me quite a few things. It gives me a perfect stop loss, because immediately I know my stop loss is going to be the first candle to open and close back above that line. Or if I want to play even tighter, the very first candle to close above it. So my stop loss could be as tight as right here on a trade like that. And on a trade like this, we expect an impulsive push down candle, which I say approximately you're looking for 1/4 to 0.5%. On the SPY, I look for 40 cents or so, on the SPY, I look for like an impulsive 40-cent candle in 1 minute. On something like NVIDIA, it's going to be more like 15 to 20 cents. All right. This one was 36-cent impulsive break after that. We played this down. We were in all the way through. because it's 1-day TE, even with this chop, we still end up with 35 to 40% on the trade. That's the type of confirmation we're looking for. So for a trade like Upstart I had today, and I said on confirmation, a $40 break is where we're going to take the trade. This is the third type of confirmation I'm looking for. All right. It depends on if I'm looking to scalp the trade or looking to hold this trade a little bit longer term, because there's much different types of trades. All right. So for a scalp trade where I'm expecting to be in and out, my entry was the break and the hold of $40. All right. So for a trade like this, if I'm playing right at market open and looking for strong breaks and I see that start to push, I'm going to take the trade at the first candle I get to close above it. Okay? None of these candles closed above $40. None of them. Here's this candle close. All right? Here's this candle close. Here's this candle close. We never had a candle close above 40. All right? So we never got confirmation to take entry on that trade. The secondary confirmation on this, which is the little safer, slow-moving confirmation, and again, you need to decide what works for you, is wait for the impulsive breakout. It might go all the way up to 41.50 or so. Wait for the comeback down to test that original entry, and then confirmation is going to be the candle close on the second test of that entry. The confirmation is going to be here. So that's like 4 or 5 different types of confirmation that I personally use. Do I set automatic stop losses? It depends on the chart. Automatically, once I take a trim on any position that I take, my stop loss, no matter what, at worst, is going to be at break even overall. Let's go back to the Nike chart. So are you talking about on day trades or swing trades? Because on Nike, all right, on this daily chart, I took profits for the first time, say right about here. All right. And right there, I took profits. And let's say it was 40%. That's the profits I took. And I sold half of my profits at 40%. All right. I have 4 videos about this, Nick, too, as well on YouTube about how to determine your stop loss. So I took profits right there, 40%. I sold half my contracts at 40%. All right. We took entry, say, right around here. All right. Say that was my entry. This is where you as a trader need to make a decision, because there's 2 different theories of thought here. There's once we're at break even for the rest of our contracts, which is right around entry, or depending on theta, it might be right above entry. Say this line right here is where our final contracts are at break even. All right. So say right here, if we sold 5 at 40%, we have 5 contracts. All right, so we have 5 contracts that break even right here. There's 2 different rules of thought to this, and this is why it should never be about a break even. It should be about what the chart's telling you. Because technically right here at these 5 contracts that break even, I'm still overall green on the trade. I took half my contracts at 40%. If I bought them for $100 each, and I bought 10, and I sold half at 40%, which is $40 per contract. So I was up $200. All right. So I'm plus $200 overall. So I'm up $200 overall. And I have 5 contracts left. Okay. Which means if we divide that per contract, I could go down $40 per contract left. All right. So right here, I'm not red. I have 5 contracts that break even. I've already banked $200. So technically, I can let the rest of those contracts go down 40%. $40 per $100 contract is 40% red. All right? Before I have to worry about anything. Which is actually 80% down from where we cut. So let's look at the chart. That's when it falls into the chart where you need to figure out where your stop loss is going to be. Because say right here, our original breakout point, which is a major support and resistance, say right here where we're at break even for our final contracts, we're just above this major support level and we're still green on the trade overall. Or are we going to hold it for here, which is a major support resistance point, and see if we take a bounce there, and we'll still be green on the trade overall. So right here, we might be, right here we were up $400. We took 40%. All right, so right here, we might be up only $150. Okay? We might be only up $150 here, and then down here, all right, at the major support resistance, we might only be up $80, but we're still green overall in the trade. We're up 20% overall on the trade right here. You have to decide as an individual how you want to play this. Do you want to start fresh like the trade didn't exist if we lose this point? So we take 40% here. We're down to right here, which is where we're break even on our final 5 contracts, but we've already banked $200 on the trade right here. All right? Or we're just above this major point and we'll still be green overall on the trade here, but instead of $150 green here, we're only green $80 here overall on the trade, and we're down 20% each contract we have that left. That mean your trade's a loser? No, because you already banked on the trade. You've got to follow the overall P&L on the trade. And down here, okay, this is where the actual break even on the trade is. So this doesn't make sense to hold to, but this is end all be all. We sell here, we break even overall on the trade. We sell here at the loss of this, we still get a little green, but we had a chance to see if it would bounce here. We sell here at original entry, those half a contracts, great. We're plus 200 up here. We took 200 profit here. We get 150 profit here. We only get 100 here, and then here we get 0 profit, but no loss. What are you most comfortable doing? Because if we bounce here, you know how many emails I get and DMs I get, people think like they can't connect the dots of we're up here, we took profits here, and then right here, I might be down 10% on my final contracts, but I'm green on the trade overall, and we bounce and we rip up here. And then people think I'm on bullshit because that trade went red. No, look at your overall P&L. How do you want to swing trade? Are you able to follow this the way you need to follow it and connect those dots? Because if we didn't bounce here, I still had this buffer right here, which is our red light. This is where I'm at $0 made on the trade like it didn't even exist. And right here, this is where I made 40% on the trade. Right here, if I sold them all. And then right here, I'm only up 20% overall on the trade, but I'm still green even though my final contracts are break even. So if you're not trimming, you're fucking yourself out of all these options, first of all. And second of all, and then you're all big mad and because I'm updating up here at 400%. Like, how did you do that? How did I do that? Is I trimmed my damn contracts. Because when I trim here, and I'm up 400% here, but I took half off the board at 40% here, we might have pulled back. And we did not pull back to where this was ever red. This never pulled back to that area. We might have pulled back to here, where I was up, say, 12% on those final contracts. And then we and it's exactly what happened. We had the pop, the pullback. Would you look at that where this line is? Still great on the trade overall, and then we rip. But people taking 100% profits here, you damn sure better be cutting your stop loss here. You can't keep the stop loss down here at 40%. If you're taking all your profits off the table at 40% up, your stop loss better be 20% or better. Better be the second you lose the support, or you'll never be successful swing trading. Never, ever, 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 ever. So these people are like, how the hell do you have so many swing trades that you hold for 300, 400, 500%? Because I'm playing them the way they need to be played. I'm taking my risk off. I'm taking the risk off as we go. And it very, very, very seldom blows up in my face because I cut that so quickly, that half of them. You cut half at 20%, the other half can go down 40%, you still break even. You cut half at 40%, the other half can go down 80% and you still break even from the point you're at when you take that trim. Like, let's be real. Simple math. Simple math. So that's confirmation right there. But I would say 90% of people in the Discord, 95. All right, 95% of you, all right, are all out, not even at that 40%. 95% of you were all out here at like 22%. But then your next trade, you'll hold it down 50% and be like, damn, I'm red overall swing trading. If you're red overall with my swing trades, something is inherently wrong with how you're swing trading it. Because not only is my win rate like over 80%, which is unheard of in the last few months, but the profits are insane. If you are overall red on my swings, you are cutting your wins too tight, and then you're trying to counteract that by cutting your losses even tighter. And I'm able, if a trade immediately sells before it pushes, let's go to Roblox. All right. My Roblox was down 30% or so at the beginning of the trade. All right. We took that trade, I want to say in here, and we went red. We popped up. How am I able to hold it to where it's at now? That's how. I take an entry. I cut heavy. All right. Say we cut half here at 50%. I cut half here. And then we come all the way back down. I'm still green overall in the trade. I don't even think I went red on my final contracts. And we're at a major bounce point. Look at this. Bounce, 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 bounce. Support, support, support. Let's cut it right above that. That makes sense, right? Like, come on, guys. If you don't understand this system as a whole that I'm teaching, first of all, I have 3 videos, on on the Honeycomb YouTube. Type Amajamma into YouTube, and it'll pop up. You'll see Amajamma Alpha Edge. Top 3 videos teach this entire thing. And then, like, I was talking about Palantir confirmation. What I was talking about with the Palantir confirmation is the following. All right, we're on the weekly chart. And I was very clear about this. I said, we had the impulsive push here. Okay, I already have it pre-charted because I talked about this yesterday. So at this candle here, we had an impulsive little nudge over a 3-4 year resistance point right here. We nudged it and resistance. And this is a long-term 4 years worth. So I want that long, big boy confirmation. So what I said is we need to see a weekly candle open and close above this point. Where did we get that candle? Last week, right here. That's my confirmation. So at this point, last Friday, add to very small to a long-term position. Long-term, because the pullback from 32 to 28 is heavy duty. I'm talking 2026 contracts here. We've got our target zones already filled out. All right. So if this is our entry, was right here. Where's our stop loss? Oh, if the weekly candle closes back below that. So here's our stop loss level right there. All right. There's our entry right here. So here's our stop box. And then here's our two targets, because I do expect all-time highs on this chart. Here's target 1. What is that, a 3-to-1 risk reward? And then here's target 2. Let's make that like a 6-to-1 risk reward, or 1-to-6 risk reward. But what happens, y'all get contracts like 4 weeks out, and it gets crushed. Because you don't give it enough time. You want to be cheap. Or you want to be degen because you're addicted to day trading. And you want to see those gains overnight. And then you're pissed when I don't update a trade for 2 weeks. Like Palantir, that I have said 9,000 times, I'm holding. It's still clearly green. I don't care that it pulled back here. Because my original Palantir, I got in down here. I don't give a shit about that pullback here. I know exactly what I'm looking for. I know exactly when to get out of the trade. If you can't, turn that telescope into bifocals, meaning you stand back and you want to have some, long-term vision, you don't want to microscope that. You want to step back. Longer time frame, the better. Look at a monthly chart even. Like, come on, guys. But you'll take that trade. Well, you said confirmation at the weekly close, and then you're buying like September 20th contracts. Not going to work. And I give you the goods. Let's look at AmaJama Analyst Floor. Let's slide this over and look. All right. Oh, I want Analyst Floor. Yeah, I am an Analyst Floor. Hold on. And what's going on here? Why won't it pull up Analyst Floor? There it is. Okay. Okay, this is pissing me off. I'm about to start. I'm so used to doing it on my phone. All right, forget it. We'll just go through Analyst 4 and find mine because it is not working right. Okay, let's find some AmaJama because I give you everything for the trade too. And then you're like DM and KT, like what's the stop loss on this trade or whatever else or what's the targets. All right, here's one. Yeah, we'll visit it here. So this one was yesterday. What is going on here? Oh my God. This is pissing me off. I'll just slide my X over because this is the same exact stuff, guys. It's on my X. All right. Let's go to profile. Here we go. All right. Here we go. Ford trade idea. Set up here. Nice accumulation distribution. 3-year statistics. Every time Ford dips below 10 and reclaims it, all right, 100% of the time it moves to 1175 plus within 30 days. 60% of the time it moves. Fantastic risk reward. We're at 50% right now. How many of you are already out of this trade? What's it Ford at now? Let's look. Let's look. Because I give you the trade. How many of you have sold it all at 1098? Sold it all. Didn't even trim. Sold it all when, if we go back and we look, 100% of the time, it hits 1175. What's the stop loss? What do you think the stop loss is on this trade, guys? Tell me. Let's guess what the stop was. This line, if we lose trend. You know, and I know I sound a little harsh, but I give it to you guys like on a silver platter. Yes, I know it's my birthday. Thank you for reminding me. All right, you. All right. So we've got bumping head against major support resistance. We could see it there. You know, a lot of room to grow. Go anywhere after that break. Lower low cleared out. Order imbalance right here. Spiking bullish volume. Boom. Look at this massive, massive liquidity zone from like 17 up to 1850. What did we hit this morning? 45%? How many of you have already sold out of this stock? How many of you are out already? And it's fine, but how tight are you setting your stop losses? It's like you're ignoring the charts and you just see green and you're out. You're like, I gotta sell. I see green. Oh my God. Like shit. Let's find another one. McDonald's, who probably none of you are in anymore. Merck. All right, this one, we're at 50% right now. I mean, and we're barely touching the 618 and breaking through it. We have a gap to 120 like nobody's business. How many of you guys have sold it already? All right, let's find McDonald's too. That's one. This is August 14th. That was a whole 8 days ago. 8 days ago I posted this thing. How many of you were out 7 days ago or 6 days ago? Why? What on earth in this trade would trigger you to not hold this? I even put on here, 275 break and hold sets a full retrace to highs, 297. What's McDonald's at now? $2.89. Where has this chart said abandon ship, we're fucked? How many of you closed the whole trade here? Or how many of you missed the trade altogether, sees it the next day, and thinks it's too late instead of looking at the trade and the chart saying if we break and hold 275, I believe we hit all-time highs. And then you go, I should have bought it 2 days ago. And you're only looking at percents. You're not looking at charts at all. At all. At all. And this is every one of these, guys. Everyone, I'm on YouTube because it's easier, or Twitter because it's easier. This is everyone. Intel, we hit like 65% on this trade. I think even more, honestly. We're broke to 25%. Let's look at Intel. Let's look at TradingView. All right, so on Intel, I said, oh. All right, so on Intel, I said, we already are in some. However, those that missed the trade, as we break and hold the 0.25, we have a weekly huge liquidity push imminent. Look at this liquidity push. At least to like 24.50. Okay, let's look at the chart. Let's look at Intel. We're 2066 right now. We had some rejection, but we already trimmed. We already trimmed big time on this. We're still green on the trade. Where's my stop loss going to be? Because I trimmed so much. Where's my stop loss? Here. Because we took entry way down here. Our entry was way down here. Did I abandon the trade? Today's rough. Sure. Today's rough. Down 3.5%. But I trimmed so much. And I might actually trim more now. Instead of waiting. Like right here. See? Look at this loss of trend right here. All right? Right there. If we lose this, isn't common sense going to tell us, ooh, we might come all the way down? So if we lose this area, I might close the trade, lock my final profits. But then, if we break the 25% again, and we end up here in a few days, who's still watching the chart? No one. Because they're waiting for me to remind you for the ninth time. And yes, that's our job as analysts. But when we give you all these tools, take them, guys. Please, for the love of God, take the tools we give you. All right, so let's look at another one. So that's 5. NVIDIA. This is a short-term trade idea. Clear as day. I think that day we hit the targets. So I had an entry, break and hold at 125. Look at this. Resistance. Support. Support. Resistance. And this line here. I mean, like, talk about perfect entry. What's NVIDIA at now? What was the high it hit? 130.75. I posted this chart 3 days ago when we were at 124. $5. $5 on $124 is how much, guys? 4 or 5% almost. Come on. And it gave you it exact what to do. Exact. I didn't even take this trade. But I think a lot of you are ignoring the analyst channel because there's so many short-term charts in there. Search my charts because it's different than just like, oh, look at this chart real quick and 100 different charts of 100 different tickers and that's it. Like what I'm putting in the analyst channel is the answers for every swing I give. Let's find another one. There's that Ford when I originally posted it. And then you see stuff like this. You're like, I don't have that. I gave you it. I told you what I was holding. You know what? McDonald's trade idea. This is a secondary McDonald's trade idea. Palantir. Here we go. This was a whole thread. This is when we were still under $30.40. This was a $30.40 entry right here. What did we hit on Palantir? $33.13. That's almost 10% from where I posted that, guys. What a perfect setup. So like, you know, like I'm giving you all the what for everything here. I can't do much more than that. You know, I give the targets. The targets are on these. I gave you the target. Let's see. Where's Palantir? Here's our short term. Look at 30.58, 30.85, 31.20. There was our short-term targets. You know, so I don't know what more I can do at this point. Here's another one. Oh, I went over a day trade I did here and here. Here's another one, AMD. Break and hold at 139. Where's AMD at? Where did AMD hit? Oh, 154. We were actually at 161. $22. Almost 15%, guys, on AMD in how many days? When was this posted? August 12th. In 10 days. 15% in 10 days. I rest my case. I don't even take some of these trades, guys. I don't even take some of them. But it's all right there for you. So when like KT gets messages like I don't understand the stop loss on the trade or what's your strike and shit like that, like, you know, it's really, I try to give you everything for the trades. Everything. And that's all I got. I'm not trying to be anything more than helpful, always. But I can only say this so many times, especially because the cutting and trimming and everything else. I have 3. This is now the 4th video saying KT will back me and most of you will back me. This is now the 4th straight video of me saying this. The videos are right there exactly how to be successful taking my swings. I made it 3 times with 3 different titles just to really try to get people to listen. So, love y'all. Peace out. Talk to you soon. I'm going to stop recording this video.